Captain America: Brave New World is from Julius Ona, director of the Cloverfield Paradox. It was written by, oh boy, that's a lot of people. Julius Ona, Rob Edwards, who worked on Treasure Planet and The Princess and the Frog, Malcolm Spellman, creator of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier and Bel Air, Dallin Mousson, who also worked on The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and Peter Glanz, who wrote a bunch of things I've never heard of. I said I'd review this last week, but then I realized I had to go edit something else, so we're doing it now. But that just means I'm playing my commentary over 2 weekends of footage from theaters promoting it. So it's no secret that the MCU may be past its prime, at least movie-wise. It's a little better on the TV front. That kind of thing is probably mostly 7 out of 10s with a few above or below. Movie-wise, it's more 6 out of 10s. Just whatever. Some movies are better than that, some are worse, but mostly they're the same old stuff. Decently made, but ultimately just a nothing movie with something put in there that allows me to generously give it a slightly positive rating. In a way, they're kind of worse than bad movies. They're just forgettable. Well, now we have Captain America: Brave New World, and right now I'm thinking it may be the first one to be generic enough to get below the 3-star line. Not bad enough to be a Quantumania or a Secret Invasion, just whatever. The closest a Marvel movie can be to staring at a blank screen for almost 2 hours. This one is the passing of the torch of Captain America to the Falcon, played by Anthony Mackie. A transition that started in the better 3.5-star Falcon and the Winter Soldier series. Here he finds himself in the midst of a major international incident. Also, Harrison Ford is the president, and a red version of the Hulk, something which I'm pretty sure was meant to be a surprise. The people behind this movie have denied it was going to happen early on, but then it basically became the entire marketing. It's in all the trailers, it's in all the posters, it's in all the TV ads, it's in every commercial for any product that has some kind of tie-in with this movie. It's pretty much impossible to have heard of this movie and not know that Red Hulk is in it. The whole marketing campaign is a spoiler. Although to be fair, it's not like this movie has any other hook. Also, let's get this out of the way. None of this is because they replaced Captain America. This movie probably wouldn't be any better if it was still Chris Evans in the role. Anthony Mackie's still good enough as his character to serve as a worthy successor. He, and Harrison Ford, and basically everyone around him just need to be in a more interesting movie. This one is in the style of the Captain America movies from 2 onward. That pseudo-political thriller style. Except this time it's just a cheaper version of that. Once again, this had 5 writers. Nothing is developed enough to make the audience care about the characters or the situation. I guess there are a few decent action set pieces, but not nearly enough to make it worthwhile. It's just Marvel slop. And yes, it is probably more Marvel and Feige than any of the filmmakers. You know these guys weren't given free rein to make something interesting. The only movie I saw from the director is The Cloverfield Paradox. Granted, this movie is still technically better than that. I'm just going to presume that was the low point of his career because I don't want to believe he's usually even worse than that, but that was at least an interesting train wreck. I mean, yes, that movie had to be fit into a franchise at the last minute, but before that, it felt like an actual movie. And one that was, once again, bad in ways that made it interesting. This Captain America is just a watered-down version of what worked for Captain America before. The MCU may be out of new tricks, or at least they aren't on display here. I'm not hoping for Marvel to just quit now, but actually no, they ruined blockbuster cinema. Fuck them. But here they're just repeating themselves with diminishing returns. Good luck with whatever's coming next, you're gonna need it.
Showtime's presentation of Once Upon a Time in America will continue in 3 minutes after this brief intermission.
Now, an evil genius is on the verge of global domination.
Captain America, you gotta help us.
And only Captain America can stop him. Ronnie Cox, Ned Beatty, Darren McGavin, Kim Gillingham, Scott Paulin as the Red Skull, and Matt Salinger as the Marvel Comics hero, Captain America.
Mickey 17 is from writer and director Bong Joon-ho, who also did The Host, Snowpiercer, and most famously Parasite, based on the novel Mickey 7 by Edward Ashton. It stars Robert Pattinson as Mickey, a working-class man in the future who joins a space expedition just so he can get off Earth and avoid being murdered by a loan shark he can't pay off. He's so desperate that he signs up as an expendable. Whatever that is.
You're applying to be an expendable?
You read through the paperwork?
Yeah. I should have read through it.
Yeah, it turns out it's a position where they're going to put him in situations where he'll almost certainly die, but they'll just make a clone with his conscience in it so that he can do it again and again. Until we get to the 17th version of him, and he doesn't die when they think he did, so they clone him while he's still alive, which leads to trouble for both versions of him. This is a Joon-ho film through and through. He's known for making big statements on capitalism, and this is no exception. At its core, it's a movie about a bunch of rich assholes exploiting the poor. like in Snowpiercer, except even in that movie they weren't literally killing him over and over again. And sure enough, he blends this kind of social commentary with accessible entertainment value just as well as he's always done. It's a fun, interesting sci-fi thriller that takes an original concept and uses it for all it's worth. It's a good story that's interesting to watch unfold in a very fleshed out dystopian world, and it's told with a strong sense of humor. Robert Pattinson plays a double role and he nails it, as do the rest of the cast, which includes Mark Ruffalo, Toni Collette, and Steven Yeun. It also has great special effects. It allegedly has a budget of over $100 million, which is a lot for something that isn't a recognizable IP, which seems to be why it's considered a disappointment at the box office. I don't know if it would look that much worse with a more reasonable budget, probably not. But I'm still going to say that in this case, Warner Brothers' loss is our game. Enjoy the big budget auteur film while you can. I guess a good comparison would be the Dune movies, only because they're Warner Brothers' other critically acclaimed big budget space sci-fi adaptation, and it sucks that it isn't getting the success that those movies got because I actually prefer this. I'm not going to pretend the effects are on the same level as that, but I think this was the more interesting one, doing away with those movies' slow burn pace and instead filling it with more story, humor, and social commentary. For complaints, I guess, maybe a few nitpicks, like how there's a dream sequence near the end which I think could have probably been set up better. Mickey says that he's been having bad dreams, but I don't remember hearing about that before that scene. And the sequence would have hit harder if it was established more. But petty nitpicks aside, this is the anti-Captain America Brave New World. A blockbuster that's fun, original, and topical. The perfect melding of class consciousness and sci-fi comedy entertainment. Bong Joon-ho does it again.